People, Deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning back in each and every time. Now, Arsenal's under 23s in the International Cup defeated Dinamo Zagreb 3-2. Game of a lot of emotions as a supporter watching that, because we've come from behind, we've then gone behind, forgive me if I'm wrong, and we've missed penalties, and we've grabbed the winner at the death, people. It's been a madness, it's been crazy. Before I begin, I have to say an apologies to you lot, because I can't lie, I did plan on making this video in the morning, but I overslept. There's no other way. I lacked YouTube's N'Golo Kante as a bad one. I overslept. The priority just became waking up, going to work. Videos were out of the way what's the right word? Just off the agenda for the morning. But cracking on, I like youth football, and for me, I like the International Cup because for the boys, you're playing. I know they go on tournaments all the time, and a lot of them play at youth level for international teams, so they are always exposed to different teams, nations, tactics, all of these things, and I think that's good, people, because it's good to know about football. Because if you got someone from East Africa, South America, England, Spain, and you made a 22-man squad, as in 11 aside, and you got them to play each other, you know yourself, it's very different and diverse. Or if you was to get a European team against an African team and a South American team, and they all played each other, it'll be good for all of their respective educations, because all the African players would only be playing with Africans within their nations. That I'm saying, obviously you'd have to pick an African nation. They'd get more experience playing against a Spanish guy, and you see what I'm saying, how Spanish people might be technically and tactically and these things, and so on and so forth for all of them. Specific to Arsenal, not really exposed to them sort of things in the season. You're playing the same teams. I think under 23s football is a graveyard anyways. Yeah, when you might be playing a Chelsea or one of them teams there, or Spurs, they might be up for it, but I feel it's a graveyard, especially for the talented players as well. Like, I look at Arsenal, I see Trey Coyle, Tyrese, John Jules, previously Amici, Saka at a point, and I'm sure you've seen many at Chelsea and other clubs. You get past this level and it's like they're not really being given a chance consistently at first team because of the dynamic of football and whatnot, but they've left this level. They're not learning anything. They're not learning how cutthroat making mistakes at first team level could be. Do you get it? They're not learning how to fight for a shirt, fight for your future and things like that. So at least with it being cup opposition, playing people from overseas, it's a good experience for these players. And when you think of Dinamo Zagreb, you know they're a good side, people. The nation of Croatia always has good technical base players, and they're no exception. Obviously, you had Marin and all of these, and one of the guys that scored as well for Dinamo in the game. I think he's a son of a former footballer. I don't know his name, but they had some good technical players, people. Obviously, we've got our own hitters and whatnot. Tyrese got a brace and them things there. Obviously Balogun encouraging that he's getting back to full fitness and stuff. Missed the penalty, but we go again, at least if I can remember. Granted, I should have done this in the morning, but if I'm honest, I'd say Zagreb started, or Dinamo, if I'm butchering their name, started the better. They were crisper than us, they were sharper than us. It seemed like we spent the early exchanges kind of reacting to what they were doing. We couldn't really get the ball down and play what I've seen them play previously in games. And we went behind very early on. We were giving away a lot of free kicks, in my opinion, on the semicircle and in around that. And I don't know if it was a fluke. I don't know if it was tactical. I believe that lad's got it in his locker, but it's a lovely free kick. It's not a typical free kick over the wall. He hits it low and he scores. Potentially, in fact, probably if the keeper or goalie watches it again, he'd probably say I should have done better with that. You get it? But yeah, we've gone behind, and I think it took a while. It took us about probably 20 or so minutes to kind of not wake up, but kind of get the ball down and do what we need to do. Like, I think Robbie Burton had a very good game today. A reaction. Did he not get sent off in his last appearance today? He played well. I think Ollie Inker played well as well. Tyrese obviously got a brace. I think Matt Smith played well of different sorts. Like, he might not get the headlines based on this game, but he was doing the dirty work. You know, when you just win it back in midfield, pass it to your centre half, and they just distribute it to the fullbacks or the wing or whatever, and that's it done. These sort of things that you don't necessarily are watching, or not necessarily people care about. I think Smith did very well with that sort of stuff. I think he did very well. How did we take the lead? I think it was Tormy down the left. It was good play from us down the left. Nathan Tormy put in a nice little ball, and I think Oli Inca got on the end of it. And he was making a case, since I've seen him recently, making them forward runs and stuff into the box. And if you do that, you're gonna score. He obviously got us back into the game, and we're kind of laughing at this point, people. We're laughing at this point. I can't even lie, people. I can't remember specifically how the goals went in, but I'm pretty sure we took the lead. We took the wait. Olinka scored, and I'm pretty sure Tyrese scored. Tyrese, it was good play from, again, if I remember correctly, Olinka down. Olinka was involved. I think Trey Coyle was involved as well down the right hand side, and then they put the ball into the box from such. Tyrese controls it, he makes a yard for himself, and that's what you got to do, score. I don't necessarily think he's been involved in the game by his own standards at this point, but that's what you got to do as a striker. You get one chance, you got to pull it in, and we've gone 2-1 or so, and we're kind of laughing at this point. If I can't lie, I can't remember how it went. Second half, I think it became a bit more open from both sides, people. I think both sides kind of went at it and had more of a go, and it became a bit more open. I think they, in particular, down their left, our right-hand side, posted a lot of threats. And main talking points from the second half is just the emotions, really. It's like, they scored. In fact, no, they scored, people. I'm pretty sure they scored before Tyrese scored. Forgive me, I don't normally butcher the scorelines in a chronological order, but I cannot remember specifically how it went. But I'm pretty sure they scored and made it 2-1 or something like that, because I saw a good reaction from Bold. He brought on Balogun and he brought on the next man. And like I said, I can't remember how it went, but either way we won 3-2. Tyrese got a brace, Olinka got one. I can't remember the chronological order, but all I remember is them scoring, me thinking we're not going to get something out of this game of sorts at some point. Conceded to miss the penalty was disappointing as well for me, because obviously Balogun's a good penalty taker, but by his own standards that penalty was appalling. Keeper was able to read it. It was a poor penalty. He's just coming back from injury, and true say he came off the bench. He might not have fully been in groove with things, but I know him. He's got ability, and he definitely does better with that. He definitely does better with that. And to be fair to Balogun, he's got good mentality. You miss penalties. He obviously never scored the winner, and that would have been the greatest of ways to right that wrong. But he got an assist for Tyrese, and it's good play from him. It was lovely technical quality. He brought it under control from a tight angle, got his head down, a little bit of a dribble, got his head up, put a lovely ball in, and again Tyrese, right place, right time. I mean, I've seen Tyrese John Jules score some very good finishes this season. But it's not always about that. A goal's a goal. You don't get double points for scoring acrobatic finishes or hitting it from range. A goal's a goal, and he's a striker. I'm sure he does. Obviously, he loves to score the Thierry Henry goals and them things, but I'm pretty sure it all gives him the same feeling, and a goal's a goal, like I said. So credit from Balogun for reacting after missing that penalty as well, people. That was actually at the death of the game. They scored in the 81st minute. Terrible from us to concede that second goal, in my opinion. That was very terrible. Very poor goal, man. We defend better than that. We, at this level at least, we defend better than that. We're at 6s and 7s. They've hit us on the break. Don't know where our right back is. People are not looking over shoulders. Like it's you cannot do that against a Croatian side, because they have very good movement and technical ability, and you could see that. And that was probably the most disappointing thing. But we reacted. Credit to Dinamo. 2 good goals from their perspective. Second one, they exploited our weaknesses. First one, we were giving them too many free kicks, and I believe our keeper should have done better, but it was a good effort for them to get that free kick goal. And from then, we had to react. Potentially, we could have started the game differently. We could have probably showed greater quality technically, but I think we did well. Like I said, I was impressed with all the midfielders, central midfielders, and I was in particular impressed with Burton. I feel he did very well. He reacted from when he got sent off in his last game. I think he did very well, and that's probably why he's training with He previously, when Longberg was the gaffer, if reports for Arteta are to be believed, he was getting a look in terms of training the first team, being on the bench, obviously last pre-season. But yeah, we did what we needed to do, man. And I also feel, that's why I looked at my notes, I'd have to give a shout out to Zach Medley, because I think he's a good defender. I just don't necessarily think he thinks defensively first. Like, he don't think like a defender. And I feel, based on this game, when you think of him, you normally think of his ball playing and his technical skills. I think he had a very good game from a purely defensive point. He showed his passing range when he could, but didn't take any unnecessary risk. Looked very confident when going up for headers. Very good for me in the duels he was going in with. Yeah, man, I think Medley had a good game in that game, to be fair. But yeah, we move on, really and truly. What can we do? It's been a good week at youth level. We've seen the under-18s go through in the FA Youth Cup. And obviously we've turned it around and we're still in the International Cup. Forgive me if I'm wrong. But for now, really, I can't keep you any longer, so I'm going to get out of here. People, it's been a pleasure. Like I said, Arsenal 3, Dinamo 2. We go marching on. So shout out to Tyrese for getting a brace, but I'm really gone now.